Hello and welcome back on my channel for the manga recommendations for beginners. This concept has been a year, I think, in the making. Some people commented when I started reading some mangas roughly a year ago if I could make a recommendation video, and my response was pretty much, hey, I'm such a newbie into mangas. How can I recommend something if I don't know stuff? So basically what I then came up with is saying, why don't I try out these manga recommendations that other people made and see if they are actually, in fact, good for beginners together with you guys. But filming and how to edit it and the format, etc. Was a back and forth over the past year. So now I'm just going to be filming me reading a manga that has been recommended for beginners every single week and then share the outcome, my rating, etc. with you weekly. So we are going to start with Fullmetal Alchemist. To be fair, this is not the very first manga that I'm reading, but it is one of the first. I have read Orange, Your Name, Let Me Eat Your Pancreas, and I think One Piece, and I think one more, but that's it. And I've only ever read the first of a series. For this video, I will also only ever read the first of a series, but give you an outlook if I want to continue with the series on my own time. So, Fullmetal Alchemist by Hiromu Arakawa is a 27 issue manga. What I know about it is that it is following two brothers, and they have tried bringing back their mother from the dead, and in the process have lost, one of them has lost their full body and the other has lost parts of his body, replaced by metal. They're now trying to find the Philosopher's Stone to regain what they've lost. What I've heard, and I'm linking the people who have recommended this in the description box down below. This is probably the most recommended manga from like everybody that I've watched, all the recommendation videos that I've watched. And a lot of them are also saying that you probably don't have to talk about this much because it's so highly and widely recommended. So I have really high expectations. It has kind of, it comes as a recommendation because it kind of has this underdog tone. It's supposedly not too much out there. It has Western names, not too many phrases and references that are unfamiliar to somebody who is completely new to Japanese culture and the manga culture and animes. What else is on my little note here? Oh, it is supposedly written for kids, but deals with very, very heavy topics. So you can expect some deep meaning. It does have some fight scenes, but not as much, and it's not as actiony as other mangas out there. And the other thing is that the world that this is playing in is supposedly inspired by 1920s Germany, like a very militaristic country. So that sounds really interesting. Let's dive into this and see how we like it. Let's go. 40 minutes later, and I've completed the Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 1. So yeah, I think due to the length of what it takes to read a manga, I just felt like these would be amazing to read together with like live reading sprints. But I don't think that there's going to be enough people who would want to do sprints and read the same mangas that you haven't read yet. And yeah, so stop rumbling. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. I do think that the main aspects that were highlighted why this is a beginner-friendly manga are absolutely on the dot. It is very accessible when it comes to the culture, the world, the setting, the names, the language. It doesn't feel like the language translation feels a little bit off. I think for these reasons, it's very, very easy to get into this. I think that the drawing style feels simple enough and not too eccentric, not too much into a specific style or corner that might require a niche enjoyment or something. I do think that this is for a type of person who likes the serial quest reading enjoyment, such as I have a little thing happening and then it's resolved and then we move on to the next. These two brothers appear to be traveling across the country or world or whatever, and just within this manga we had 3 encounters with people, creatures, whatever, that are little mini stories in itself. We then had a little bit backstory and everything, but within 180 something pages we had 3 completely different encounters with different side characters that do not cross over. I don't know if they cross over in the future, but if this style continues, then this will easily pick on heavy topics, always in like these short story kind of style, if you understand what I mean. But this gives this a lot of potential. I do think that the main characters, the Elric brothers, are very intriguing and likable, and they are a little bit punny and witty and fun and obviously morally on the right side of things. So altogether, I think that this is a very good setup. The world building is quite okay. It doesn't overpower anything, but you understand the world really quickly. So I do think that this is really, really good for somebody who wants to get into mangas, but has no understanding of the culture of what mangas are, etc. yet. So absolute recommendation. Another side note, I do believe that there's 2 animes that are based on this. One, the Fullmetal Alchemist, seems to stray from the original story a little bit and might have been released at the same time. And then the anime was finished before the manga was finished, so they have different endings and such. And then a second anime series, if I got this correct, it's called the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood or something. And this is supposed to stay a lot more true to the manga and is mostly recommended. And you could either enjoy the storyline by watching the anime or reading the manga. So if you want some more details, check out the links below. I am timestamping directly to the recommendation videos where they're speaking about the Fullmetal Alchemist. They obviously know way more about what they're talking about than I do, so be sure to check them out. And I hope to see you again next week for another manga. Until then, bye!
Just loving this moment. Can we stay